Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and yes, oh my gosh, so much juiciness today. Like the first early phase of fall has already hit the stores. I was like, oh my god, like July 3rd is probably the earliest we've ever seen anything remotely fall into the stores, like officially. I think last year, it was end of June when I started seeing stores put out stuff early, but I feel like this is the first, like the fastest official Floorset of fall stuff, where it was like nationwide, you could go into the store and start finding fall. Of course, they keep pushing it up. I don't really need to comment on it, but it is what it is. Yes, but so I was gonna go into the store for that stuff anyways, but then I recall on social media, people were finding the Vanilla Romance flankers in their stores. So I was like, let me just call a few stores and see what's going on. And the second store I called had it. A super nice lady answered the phone and helped me out. And she's like, yeah, let me see if they're in the back. She pulled them out of the back and they were ringing up sale price. So she's like, come and get them. So that's exactly what I did. So super juiced about that. So we have the Vanilla Romance flanker stuff, as well as the early fall Floorset. Plus, I had a birthday reward, and that's all what this video is. And it's like the official start of like fall candle hauling season. Craziness. So let's get into it. So yes, as you know, Vanilla Romance, I don't think it left. It was still on the walls, is here. And it's being reintroduced as a candle again for this year. And it's getting 2 flanker fragrances that I'll talk about here in a moment. This one's the Fresh Cardamom, Vanilla Absolute, and Captivating Woods. And I was like, do I really need this one? Because like I still have last year's, but I was like on the phone and I was just asking for any of the 3. And so she set all 3 aside. So I was like, okay, whatever. Let me just like buy all 3 to complete the trio and be done with it. And I really liked last year's, but I don't remember it being exceptionally strong. But this year, I think I'm gonna keep it because it has the thick rope-like wicks on it rather than the core wicks that we had last year. And so here's last year's. It's literally the same label and everything. And as you can see, I have burnt this one down some amount, and these had the core wicks on them. And so I was like, oh, well, it has thick rope-like wicks on it this year, so like maybe it'll perform slightly differently. I don't know, but any case, Fresh Cardamom, Vanilla Absolute, and Captivating Woods. It's like that sort of popular vanilla body care fragrance that we've been seeing. I think it's like the Billie Eilish vanilla or whatever was popular. And then Viva Vanilla is like the Everyday Luxuries dupe of that. And Vanilla Romance and Viva Vanilla I find to be very, very similar. That every time I smell Viva Vanilla in stores and it's like discounted now, I'm like, do I really need this when I have Vanilla Romance? I don't think so. And I think I was just lukewarm on this, but this is, it's all right. I mean, I still enjoy the body wash, and it's just like a very nice sort of body care vanilla. It's not overly perfumey. It's not totally edible, but yeah, it's just like a very creamy body care vanilla that also has a little bit of this slightly creamy, smoky spice note that I'm assuming is coming from the cardamom that gives it an extra robustness and depth to it. And it's nice. It's like a very cozy, awesome vanilla body care fragrance that's kind of like, you don't get too sick of it. Yeah. So that's Vanilla Romance right there. Yeah, it smells exactly the same as last year, just a change in the wicks. Okay, so then the juiciness is Vanilla Café. So this is the first flanker. And we have Smooth Espresso, Whipped Vanilla, and Toasted Hazelnut. This one also has the thick rope-like wicks on it. And this one has like, sort of like a marbled, like stone cracking accent on the wraparound. And yeah, I think it looks quite handsome, so I enjoy that. And yeah, off the bat, like it's not coffee in like a Paris cafe or freshly brewed coffee type of way where it's that obvious roasty espresso. It's more so kind of like the implied notes that surround a coffee fragrance with the sort of like brown sugar and the creamy milkiness and the hazelnut and even sort of those like cocoa chocolate notes are where what you are getting here. It's very creamy. It's quite sweet, actually. It's like full gourmand body care for sure, I think. It's not 100% edible, but like it's less perfumey than like brown sugar latte, which was marketed as a full gourmand. So for a body care fragrance, it's actually quite un-body care or perfumey. Like it's not overly floral or anything like that. You're really just getting heaps of the creamy, yeah, sort of hazelnut. I still get like a caramel, sticky gooiness to it, a little bit of brown sugar that evokes like a milky, frothy coffee moment. And yeah, I guess it's supposed to be a vanilla cafe, so there is still heaps of a very creamy, sweet vanilla. So like, for example, Ice Cream Float, I was remarking that for it being a float fragrance, it didn't really have a whole lot of vanilla. But for instance, this does satisfy if you're looking for a very creamy vanilla. Yeah, I would say like the coffee is kind of like low on the list. But I guess it still kind of evokes coffee. Yeah, just don't think of it as roasty as like the Paris Café freshly brewed coffee type of coffee variety that we get. And it's like, for comparisons, we have brown sugar latte right here. And yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, it's just ridiculous how freaking perfumey and like body care this is for a fragrance that's not supposed to be that way. This was the freshly brewed coffee, froth milk, and sugared praline. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is just like, there's just like someone just threw in like floral perfume mixed with a creamy hazelnut like cappuccino fragrance, and I freaking loved it, but it was just very perfumey for a gourmand fragrance. This seems so much more perfumey in comparison. We also had fragrances like Midnight Amber Glow right here. This was the Smooth Amber Caramel Latte and Vanilla Bourbon. Yeah, this one has that like distinct nail polish note that's coming from that sort of like alcoholic bourbon fragrance. It has a similar creamy smoothness, but this is much darker and just more, I would say complex. Yeah, this is totally different from Vanilla Café. Let's see, we also had the OG Cafe Bouquet Paris. Oh my god, I freaking love this one-hit wonder from that like SAS travel collection. Espresso beans, ripe tuberose, and bergamot zest. I think this was supposed to be a dupe of Cafe Tuberosa, some like old fine fragrance from a few years ago or whatever it was. But in any case, I mean, this is so much more incredibly perfumey. I mean, this is like full-blown like mature white floral like perfume was like shoved in there. There's a very mature, almost antiquated floral quality to this candle. And I freaking loved it, and it was quite strong too. But yeah, this is so incredibly floral. Yeah, it's crazy. If you're looking for more of a gourmand body care fragrance, then this is it. Like, it's the least perfumey of the ones that I was making the comparisons to. It kind of actually got the hand soap as well as my birthday reward or whatever. And so there's what that looks like. Super, I just love like those like beige tan tones that we got going on there. Super handsome, love it. In hindsight, after smelling, so this was like in a box on a cart. But the sales associate told me about it, and so I went over there and I just grabbed this out of the box because it was already open. But then Vanilla Ease was in a box, but it was sealed, and I didn't want to like bug the sales associate to open it, and I was like, okay, whatever, I just need a birthday reward, let me just shove this in the basket and call it a day. But in hindsight, I wish I would have got Vanilla Ease in the hand soap instead, because I prefer that fragrance over Vanilla Cafe. Not that I don't like this, but when you use this hand soap, the dry down on it is quite basic. It's just like, it's not super nuanced or robust. There's not really a floral perfumey body care like dry down on it. It's just quite like caramely sweet, milky, to be honest. And so the hand soap was just, I don't know, I just, for the handsome packaging and the marketing and everything, I was expecting something a little bit more robust, but it's not quite there. But in any case, yes, I will still obviously reserve final judgment until I burn it. Maybe it'll bloom and it'll get really juicy and awesome. It's not that I don't like it. It's just, I don't know, I was hoping for something a little bit more body care sophisticated. But I still enjoy it nonetheless. So Vanilla Cafe right there. I think it's very like mass appeal palatable. So it has that going for it. Wait, didn't I pulled this out for some reason. My Sweet Sisters. Because this also had a hazelnut note. And was also supposed to be like a chocolate fragrance. And yeah, there's kind of similarities to this as well, but I think Vanilla Cafe is still heavier on a sweet, creamy vanilla action, but shares a similar, almost like cocoa hazelnut chocolate combo that I get from My Sweet Sisters. That's probably like the closest thing I can compare it to. So that was the My Sweet Sisters comparison. Moving on, we have Vanilla Ease, and I had totally forgot what this fragrance was even supposed to be, that I just asked her to set one aside because I was on the phone or whatever, and I was like, I'm not gonna do much past that, and like, if I really love it and enjoy it, I've finally learned after how many ever years of reviewing or whatever, that I'm like, sometimes I'll get really excited about a fragrance and buy two off the bat, but I'm like, there's really no point to it, because like, these don't really sell out like they used to. Like, if I burn this one now, when this makes the full launch out on the floor, I will be able to easily get another one for sale price. So I was like, let me just buy one, see how it is, because a lot of times like you might stock up on something and then you end up not liking it or it be unscented, you know? So yeah. lavender blossoms, creamy vanilla, and soft cedarwood. This has a smaller size rope wick on it, and that's what that looks like. Ooh, oh my god, I love this. Yeah, you definitely get lavender up front. There's another floral in there that is supporting the lavender that I can't quite figure out what it is, but you do also get heaps of a creamy vanilla. The lavender is actually quite sharp, very much like that sort of like astringent French lavender feel that you get, but there is plenty of a creamy, smooth vanilla that's similar to the vanilla in both Vanilla Cafe and Vanilla Romance, that it like carries that same sort of milky, creamy quality, like is consistent throughout the three fragrances is what I'm trying to say. Like it's not that lavender luxe from Emily in Paris. It's not lavender marshmallow, and it's not lavender vanilla. Like, yeah, they're similar because they all have a vanilla lavender presence to it, but I think this is definitely its own thing, and I appreciate that. But yeah, the lavender in this is gorgeous. There's another floral that I can't quite figure out right now that is supporting the lavender, and it's mixed with that sort of like creamy, slightly smoky Vanilla Romance vanilla blend. Wow. I love this. Yeah, it smells great. I can't wait to light this up. Yeah, I mean, it's still lavender and vanilla, so I don't know how else more to dissect it other than that it's not the other ones that we talked about. Yeah. Okay, cool, awesome. Wow, I really enjoy that one. Oh, that's the comparison. It reminds me of Dream in the Sky, that like lavender fragrance that we had from like that Kaleidoscope lineup. When Kaleidoscope first came out, I think, and there was a Dream in the Sky, and it was a purple one, and it was like lavender and honey or something. It is very similar to sort of the sweet, creamy, like lavender vanilla blend that we got in Dream in the Sky. And oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm like getting super distracted because like the baby bunny who has been like growing up in my yard outside the window is like finally getting larger and more active, where it's like not scared to like get out of its little home. And it's like so much more active. You can see like the cute little like white bunny cottontail on the back. Oh my god, I'm getting so distracted. It's like eating now and like pulling stuff like with all its might. It's using its whole body to like pick out weeds and grass from the ground. Oh my god, it's just so adorable. But in any case, yes, Vanilla E's right here. Let me get back on track. Beautiful, love it. Yeah, pissed that I got the free Vanilla Cafe instead, but I should have got the Vanilla E's, but whatever. I will definitely want to redeem like one of my 3 rewards for this Vanilla E's body care for sure. So quite excited about that. And there's a good chance I might still redeem it on the Vanilla Cafe body care as well. Okay, cool. Super fun. There's nothing more that I love than a juicy ass Bath & Body Works like body care launch or signature fragrance launch, standalone fragrance launch, an SFL, but then like now we get flankers of Vanilla Romance, and also I just love flankers. It's so much fun because it builds on the popularity of the current of the original fragrance, and then you get other variations of it. I just freaking love it. So super excited for all of that. It made my day to be able to get those today, because usually the stores are quite stingy about like getting anything that's like not out on the floor yet. But she said that if the stores were selling down of SAS stuff and they had blank tables or whatever, they were allowed to put those out, and so that's why it was ringing up sale price. So possibly if you're interested in getting it for this sale, call around and see if any of the stores have them. Yes. Okay, moving on to fall. Okay, let's see. Yeah, super early fall launch, but kind of expected. They're doing a super cute like camp theme, and it's really cute. They have like these like camp logo decals even on like the display with the like the glass windows or whatever in the store, which is really fun. Like not the glass windows of the store, but like once you walk in and they have like the cabinet or whatever. Super cute. I can say from experience that having a camping theme is quite a nice way to do a transition from summer into fall, where it seems a little bit too early for fall, but it's also still kind of summer appropriate, and so it's a perfect transition theme. And so I can see why they did it, because it still carries a sort of like cozy, outdoorsy like campfire and fire coziness that you might associate with fall, but still also like the whole going on adventures during the summertime and going outside. So it is really a nice way to bridge the gap between the two seasons. So I understand why they did it. And I personally also love hiking and going out into nature. And I've never actually gone camping though. I would love to do so, but I feel like I'm not quite in the right state for it anymore. But in any case, yes. So they have that. There's like 4 repackages. Campfire friggin' cocoa. It's like, how dare they put like hot cocoa and cream out? I guess that was a fall fragrance, and so now they're trying to make it a little bit more thematically appropriate by calling it campfire cocoa. The notes are exactly the same. I smelled it in the store and it smelled just like hot cocoa and cream. The sales associate in the store was saying that it smelled a little bit spicier, but I really didn't get any kind of extra spice in that candle whatsoever. It didn't smell like Feliz Navidad Champorado, even though that is similar to hot cocoa and cream. I think I was just smelling it up in my candle loft, and it does smell just like spicier than hot cocoa and cream does. But the campfire cocoa smelled just like hot cocoa and cream. So kind of bummed about that. Those have like a cute like stone-like lid, or like a stone type painted look to it, which is kind of fun or cute. Iced dragon fruit tea, which like, how does that have any business being in like a camp collection? Like, a dragon fruit is like a tropical fruit, is it not? So like, why would that be part of like an American wilderness camp collection? It just makes no sense. Backyard honeysuckle, which I guess they could be honeysuckle blooming in the wild, so it's a little bit more nature focused, but still kind of more garden oriented than like wilderness. And then what is the other one? Mountainside Mist, which is a repackage of Summer Rain from last year. Smelled exactly the same as Summer Rain. And so there's that. I think they just took the Summer Rain theming and made it less like seasonal and made it Mountainside Mist to make it a little bit more, once again, thematically cohesive. And I believe that was also a hand soap at one point as well. But in any case, yes, that's the same fragrance as Summer Rain. It's interesting. It's like they always have those like 4 candles that are like the bridge between summer and fall, like more so than even the rest of the camp collection. Like for instance, wasn't 3 out of those 4 out last year as Summer Rain, Iced Dragon Fruit Tea, and Backyard Honeysuckle. And then there was that basil leaf apple thing as well, or whatever that was. So that one did not come back. And then we got slotted in Campfire Cocoa instead. And I think the thing is, if you've ever like seen the sheets that they get on Gingham Gateway, which is like the internal system that the store employees use to look up like the products that are coming out for the Floorset, a lot of times those sheets must be made like quite early. It'll say like fragrance TBD on the packaging. So as an insight or like hypothesizing how they do the design process, they must design the labels before the fragrances are fully finalized, and they kind of like obviously wait to print the label until the very end when they finally have the fragrances finalized. So it's like, I think the designers are being given a camp theme and they don't quite know what the final fragrances will be. And then it's like up to marketing or whoever to finally slot in the fragrances at the end. So you can't really blame the designers, more so shame on the marketing people for friggin' putting in Iced Dragon Fruit Tea into a camp collection that's supposed to be the start of fall. It just makes no sense. But clearly there must have been some kind of like directive where Iced Dragon Fruit Tea and Backyard Honeysuckle do really well in that like 4 lineup in this exact time frame as it was last year. And so like it was so successful last year, like Iced Dragon Fruit Tea and Backyard Honeysuckle have to go somewhere, so we got to slot it into one of the collections, and that was the only one that was like loosely appropriate, and I even use that loosely as well because I don't know how appropriate dragon fruit tea is in a camping collection. But in any case, my little side tangent about that. But in any case, regardless, the camp collection and the wilderness stuff is totally cute. I love it. It looks totally fun. I enjoy it. And then there's like these fun like camping badge designs all throughout the side, but they're like quite subtle, and I really enjoy that. And yeah, so super fun. A lot of like early fall. Pumpkin S'mores is back. It's a good fragrance, a little funky on cold, but I still have one from last year, so I don't need that again. Freshly Brewed Coffee is back. That one finally has white wax and thick rope-like wick, so I'm hoping it burns better than that brown one that we had the first year that dudded out like crazy. Pumpkin Pecan Waffles is always awesome. That one's there. Honeycrisp Apple, aka Moldy Apple, is back. And then we had the return of Acorn Lane, which, I didn't even grab it, but it is indeed the same as the Acorn Lane from years past when it came out. And it was like a one-hit wonder, I think. It only came out that one year in that packaging, and then now it's finally back out. So whoever needs to hear this, just stock up on Acorn Lane right now if you're missing it from the first release. It's finally here. It smells the same. That one, to me, always smelled very much like the chestnut and clove candle with an added cinnamon spice fragrance to it. It's like so similar to chestnut and clove. I still have it in my collection. I smelled the two side by side, and it's like they took chestnut and clove, which was also repackaged as a winter cabinet at one point, and then added a cinnamon spice note to make it a little bit more spicy and just a little bit different. And yes, so Acorn Lane exists. Kind of weird because that one's more of like this really like walking like through the woods on an Acorn Lane during the fall time, but then once again the label is mismatched because it's like some kind of like Grand Canyon looking camping theme. Just like what? It doesn't make any sense. But yes, at least be happy Acorn Lane is back. But I still have my old one, and I didn't even love that one that much that I didn't need to buy another one. So then that finally brings us to the only other new fragrance, which is Sunlit Trails right here. And yes, Fir Branches, Bright Citrus, and Golden Sun Rays. These are $26.95. Core wicks with white wax, and that's what that looks like right there. Super cute galvanized lid, and yes. Well, I mean, this is a full-blown Christmas tree fragrance. And I think tree fragrances are actually kind of getting popular all throughout the year. And so I think that's why they're kind of doing this. As you recall, Fresh Balsam also kind of like comes out quite early now. Like even before the Christmas Floorset, there's usually like an online exclusive Fresh Balsam that comes out quite early. And then also we had Fresh Balsam for Christmas in July, and maybe they were still like testing to see how a Christmas tree fragrance does during the summertime as well. And then so here we have another very tree forward fragrance. I mean, this is just full blown Christmas tree fragrance. It just reminds me of those like old school Slatkin like tree fragrances that we got like a dime a dozen. But we don't get we still get some tree fragrances, but not to the level that we used to in the Slatkin era. This is very reminiscent of Evergreen, which we had in the repackaged name Evergreen and Fir from Candle Day right here. And Evergreen kind of like dropped off the face of the earth, and so we were happy to get this. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're exactly the same, but oh my lord, are they so similar. I don't know if I could, if I was blindfolded, could I figure it out? This one maybe is slightly more like dry and woodsy in a bark type of way, and a little less sappy in a Christmas tree type of way, but oh my god, I'm not even confident in me saying that because they're so similar. I don't think they're exactly the same, but this definitely has a like bark and sort of like walking on leaves, like a very much a tree experience, but they're still heavy. Like that evergreen fir fragrance is in here is for sure. And like Golden Sun Rays is a total fantasy note, so that gives us nothing. Bright Citrus, I really would totally ignore that. That is so misleading to me. I mean, maybe there's citrus in here, but when you think of citrus, you're gonna think of something way more bright and juicy in a citrus type of way. Like for example, it's not the Autumn Sunshine candle that we had. Oh my god, one hit wonder, does anyone even remember that? That had a very strong citrus plus like greenery note to it. It's not that. Like it's not Merry Mistletoe, which also had citrus mixed with, you know, mistletoe notes. And then what other things? Like Golden Berry Mistletoe was also that sort of like Bath & Body Works hairspray berry citrus blend mixed with a mistletoe fragrance. You're not getting those like body care citrus berry undertones from Golden Berry Mistletoe either. This is like full blown just like a tree, Christmas tree fragrance. Wow. So if you want that during July and then all the way into Christmas, like this would be appropriate for that. So that's Sunlit Trails right there, the most closest to Evergreen. We had what, Fall Forest one year as our like tree fragrance, and so we had that, and that's what that looks like. This was the Forest Pine Needles, Woodland Moss, and Chilly Fall Air. It is totally not this. There's actually a floral powdery prettiness to this fragrance that I always enjoyed, but I just never really found a spot to burn it because it was just like, I wasn't really looking for it during the fall time because I was like, you know, obsessed with my pumpkin pecan waffles or whatever new bakery pumpkin fragrance was out instead. And then like once Christmas came around, there were plenty of other Christmas fragrances to keep me occupied that I never really had a slot for this in this time frame. And so like, why did I buy Sunlit Trails? I don't know. But yeah, it's not the same as Fall Forest. But yeah, I like that there's almost like this sort of barky acorn natural wood earth quality to this mixed with heaps of a Christmas tree fragrance. But yeah, that's Sunlit Trails right there. Okay, let's see, anything else to talk about? There's the core collection, which were all repackages. White Pumpkin in the core line finally had thick rope-like wicks, which I was excited for, because normally it has the flat, curly ones that dud out and just get so nubby and just terrible on me that I can never get any satisfaction out of the candle after like 3 burns. And so I was this tempted to pick it up, but I was like, no, I have so many candles, I so don't need White Pumpkin again. And then like Leaves, Sweater Weather, Flannel, Autumn Woods, just the usual pumpkin pecan waffles just out in like, you know, droves like usual. That then takes us to the Neutrals collection, which got a facelift, which I do have to say, I think I prefer the old look better. But here's Moonlit Goddess, first time in candle, and it was out in laundry prior. Yeah, it has a new font, and yeah, I just much prefer the old one. So the new one is a serif font, and the old one was like sort of like a rounded sans serif, and it had a very neutral quality to it. This is a little less neutral, and it just looks a little bit jankier. Yeah, I don't like the typography choices on that, but obviously a very minor impersonal thing. Yeah, okay, but in any case, what else is in that collection? White Pumpkin Oakwood, which smells like pumpkin carving with heaps of like the sandalwood note in it that is very strong, especially as it burns. But White Pumpkin Oakwood with a thick rope-like wicks is always, well, the first version dudded out like crazy mid-range point, and like I couldn't burn it anymore. It will literally like blow itself out. But clearly a popular fragrance because it keeps coming back. It's a nice fragrance, but I don't need it because the performance was so terrible on it, and I don't love it enough to try it again. Cranberry and Gala Apple or something, which has like replaced Autumn. I don't understand why they just don't bring Autumn back. It's so annoying. Let's see, what else was in there? Whipped Honey and Vanilla is actually back, which smells totally like Vanilla Coconut and Vanilla Coconut Surf from before. I've like burned the two, and I still kind of stand by that opinion. And Leather and Brandy, Coffee and Whiskey. Okay, nothing to talk about. Fresh French Lavender, Pear Blossom, and Golden Vanilla. Core Wicks White Wax. Ooh, oh my god. Wow, how exquisitely body care and so juicy too. I mean, this is a heavy body care fragrance. Wow, very like kind of Victoria's Secret, and also kind of like old school perfumey Bath and Body Works body care smell. Yeah, there's almost like a nostalgic quality to it. Yeah, whoa, I mean just heavily body care. Very floral. You get a slightly sweet fruity juiciness from the pear, but oh man, the other notes in there. I feel like I don't think lavender is painting the full picture in terms of the floral robustness of this fragrance. There's a huge floral seed to this, mixed with like a very creamy, smooth pear and vanilla blend. Yeah, wow. I can't even think of any comparisons off the top of my head. It has a similar heavy body careness to Blush Amber and Peony. Yeah, would be the closest thing that I can think of in terms of like a similar heaviness. Yeah. Okay. Also maybe like Luminous-ish. Yeah, I think Luminous also gets close to this. Yeah, think of that too. Just that very heavy, traditional floral body care fragrance with some fruit undertones. Yeah, I like it though. Yeah, wow. I mean, you definitely have to be into this type of fragrance. It's like, it's pretty intense when you smell it, but I enjoy it. So that's a Moonlit Goddess right there. Anything else to talk about? New wallflowers and room sprays to talk about. Is there anything to note? Campfire Donut is back in both a room spray and a wallflower. And I did smell it, and it smelled just like the OG Campfire Donut that we had for a few years there, and then it totally disappeared. It's like this kind of powdery donut fragrance that had a very much like almost like a bready quality to it. It was like a bready donut. But yeah, if you enjoy that fragrance, it's available in room spray. Yeah, kind of weird to put that in a room spray and a wallflower, because I don't know, usually room sprays and wallflowers are a little bit more reserved for like the clean fragrances, and that's like full gourmand, like all up in a room spray and a wallflower. So interesting choice there. But that does exist. Let's see. There was also Autumn Drive, which was a body care fragrance that I freaking love. It's so juicy and like berry sweet action, and that's in a room spray, which is kind of cool. There was something called Vintage Vinyl, which was actually a little bit more nuanced than just your usual plain like straightforward Eddie's leather jacket type of leather fragrance. Like it didn't smell like a handbag. There was definitely like a spiced, almost like a Christmassy nostalgic quality to that fragrance that I actually didn't mind that. So there was that. Vanilla Noir from the men's shop is also getting a room spray. Anything else to note? And I think Vanilla Noir is also supposed to come out in a candle, and I would love that because I love that men's body care fragrance, but the associate said that was not in yet, so I guess I have that to look forward to still as well. Okay, cool. And then lastly, I don't know what came over me, but I was eyeing this like months and months back, and it was finally on sale at Victoria's Secret during their semi-annual sale. And you guys know I've always wanted to be a Victoria's Secret angel and walk the runway. Just totally kidding, no desire to do that. But the next closest thing to being a Victoria's Secret angel and walking the runway is to buy the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show 2024 Backstage exclusive candle. Okay, cool, that's what that looks like, yeah. But I guess because Victoria's Secret was L Brands for the longest time, and so when I see candles come through from them, I just still have like a connection to it, that I'm still intrigued by it. And a lot of times they're just usually like useless single wick candles, but this one was a 14.5 ounce 2 wick, and it finally went on sale for $16.95, and then with shipping it came out to be still like $25 or something. But I was like, you know what, whatever, it comes in a box and it's a little bit more fancy, so let me just do it. And so it says, front row gets attention, runway gets glamour, but backstage is where the magic happens. Wow. And so that's what that is. And the other size has this limited edition scented candle as a sparkling mix of wild red fruit, warm musk as fresh cut bouquets, and was created exclusively for the 2024 Victoria's Secret Fashion Show. So obviously kind of dated at this point. I guess that's what's bad about dating a candle, because then it's like when you buy it in 2025, it's like, oh, it's old. Sparkling cherry, jasmine, sandbach, and ambroxan. Originally $35. Okay, let's see. So that's what it looks like. There's like kind of grooves, but the grooves are on the inside. They're molded on the inside rather than the outside. Pretty pink color, and just a very simple scuffed up like linen paper label on there. I like it. It's very chic and Victoria's Secret, and it just talks to my inner angel. And yeah, I mean, sure enough, it's another sweetsy cutesy Victoria's Secret body care fragrance. Not as disgusting as Bombshell, thank God. But a similar like high-pitched, fruity, floral concoction. Yeah, I like it. It's quite fruity. This could definitely be a Bath & Body Works fragrance too. It's just very like sweetsy, cutesy, very sweet body care fragrance. Yeah. And even though it says it's cherry or whatever, it's not really like sweetheart cherry and that gourmand sort of cherry pistachio moment that we've been getting a lot. This is not trying to replicate that. It's a little bit more, I guess, just basic than like those cherry gourmand body care that we've been getting a lot. But it still smells nice. Like, it doesn't smell cheap. Yeah. So, okay, we'll see how that goes. It's 2 wicks, and that's what that looks like. Okay, I feel like I've rambled enough. I think that is it. Super jazzed, if you couldn't tell, for the start of fall. I feel like spring and summer was kind of a weak point for Bath & Body Works this year. So super excited to see what they have up their sleeve for the rest of the year, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.